Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So now I will be doing my foundation routine for you guys. You saw my lash routine yesterday and I am wearing the same thing because it is the same day because I did both of these in the same day, so don't judge me. But anyways, I asked on Snapchat, and I already said this in my video before, what you wanted to see, and lashes was most requested over foundation, but I did get a lot for foundation too. Yeah, if you're not following me on Snapchat, please go do so. I'll put my information down here somewhere on the screen, just because I like to get on there and socialize with you guys. A lot of my YouTube friends are on here, and it's just fun to be on there with other people that you guys have stuff in common. And just in general, I'm on Snapchat like mostly more than anything than Instagram and all that. I like to ask on there what you guys like to see. Anyways, I'm rambling. Just so you know, my foundation routine is always changing, so this is just what I'm currently using. So yeah, let's just get right into this video. Okay, so the first thing is find a good primer. You're gonna need to start off with a good primer. Also, make sure your face is already moisturized with whatever moisturizer that you normally use. And then let that dry down a little bit. I already put some on. I use the Clinique moisturizer. Let that dry down because you don't want to mix them in. So the next step is finding a good primer. I currently use the Nivea Men's Post Shave Balm. Now they have another one that doesn't have such a strong scent. I feel like this one kind of has more of a strong scent, and I'm not liking it as much. But they have one as like for, I don't know, it's a green tag. I don't remember the name, but it has green right here. So if you're wanting to try this, I would suggest getting that one rather than this one, because this one is has a strong men's scent. But anyways, the reason why I like to use this as a primer is because it's really sticky and it's really moisturizing. So if you don't want to use this, you can also use like any other primer. Another one I suggest is this NYX No Filter Blurring Primer, and I will use that too on other days. So just get a nice amount. I mean, I don't like to put too much because I don't like my face feeling all wet and it's gross. And then just rub it in like you normally would, and then I like to pat it in so that it kind of goes down into those pores, because that's what the primer is for. It's to blur out those pores that you have on your face so they're not showing as much. After you get that primer put on, just let it dry a little bit. I currently am right now using this airbrush foundation that I did my other video on, and I really like it, but for the purpose of this video I'm going to be using a regular foundation, and it'll be my Milani 2-in-1 concealer, my Milani 2-in-1 foundation. It's a concealer and foundation. So basically what it's saying is that it will be a foundation as well as a concealer to cover all your imperfections, and that's why I really like this. The color that I wear is Sand. I also like to use 2 different beauty blenders. Now this is optional. If you only have one, use the one, but I will use this one for foundation, and then I use this for concealer. If you don't have a beauty blender and you only have a brush, I will do half of my face with the brush and half of the face with the beauty sponge. So you can see, you know, either one you use, you can use that. So this brush that I'm using is the e.l.f. Ultimate Blending Brush. And when you're putting on foundation, you want a brush that's dense. It's densely packed. See how it's nice and thick? Because that will move around the foundation a lot better. I'll just go ahead and put this on the back of my hand. I start out with like a pump and a half. So we'll do the brush side first. So just put a little bit of product on there, and then I like to just kind of dot it on first. And I do start with like my cheek area and then go out into this area here. And as you can see, I'm just kind of pressing it rather than swirling it. I do both, but I like to press it in first just to get the product in there, and then I'll buff it out. Now I personally do not go all the way up into my eye area because I do wear concealer under there, and I just don't like the so many layers in that area, because when you put too much product under your eyes, it does start to build up and just look cakey, and it can actually accentuate any fine lines or wrinkles that you have under there. So I will usually stop about right here. So press that in. Make sure you go down a little bit under your jawline. Some people like to take it all the way down. I just lightly buff it down into my neck, but nothing too serious. Okay, so there goes that side. The other side we're going to do with the beauty sponge. And I still have a little bit of product on there, so I'm just going to use whatever's left. Pick it up with my sponge and start dabbing it in. So I'm just going to put a little bit more. Maybe like not quite a full pump. You want to start small and build your way up. You never want to put too much because taking it off is harder than adding more to it. Now I feel like with a beauty sponge, it's gonna be more dewy look because this beauty sponge is wet. So it kind of gives it more of like a shine. And then just make sure up here on your edges you're buffing it into your hairline. So at this point, you have your whole face on, your whole foundation on your whole face. If you would like, so I can still see a little bit of pinkness and redness here on my cheeks. This is where you can, it's up to you if you want to go in and put more foundation on. I am not, because it's hot outside and I'm going to be sweating anyway, so I really don't want tons of makeup. So yeah, I'm just going to leave it the way it is. And the next step will be putting on your concealer. As you all know, in every single one of my videos, I'm using this Tarte Shape Tape, and I'm in the color medium. Well, the color that I use is medium. I feel like I could probably go a little bit darker with this. Make sure that when you are finding a concealer, it's going to be at least 1 to 2 shades lighter than your actual foundation, because the concealer is to basically be a little bit lighter than the foundation. Oh, and another tip I wanted to mention in the beginning, if you're not sure what your color is, make sure you try and figure out your undertone. So if you have more of a cool undertone or warm undertone, if you don't know what that means, so if you don't know your undertone, look on your wrist and find your veins. If your vein is more of like a blue, like it's more blue, then your undertone is cool. If it looks more green, then your undertone is warm. But if it's more greenish blue and it's both, then you're neutral. So you basically have cool and warm undertones, which I'm more of a neutral. It's kind of hard to find like a set foundation. I usually have to mix, but right now this has been okay for me. Make sure you know your undertone when you're picking out your foundations. Okay, so we're gonna go in with our concealer, and I like to just place it right in the corner here. Now when I first bought this, I used to be like the whole triangle. Now I just kind of concentrate it right here on both sides, and I'll pull it down a little bit, and then I'll put it right down my nose, and then just right here on the forehead to kind of lighten that up. Now sometimes I'll put it around my mouth if I see that it's darkening a little bit, but let's put a tiny bit. So like I said, on this side we're going to use a brush, and I am using the same one that I used for my foundation, just because I'm too lazy to get up and to get a different brush. So when you're putting this in, make sure you're pushing it into your skin. Ooh. See how a little bit goes a long way with this though? Like I just put it here in my corner and it's going all the way out to my end of my face. Now if you feel like it looks weird when you pull it out here too far, I'm going to put bronzer on top of that later, So I'm not really worried about it looking so white out here. Push that in. Side I'll do with my beauty sponge. Same thing on this side, just pushing it in. And you'll want to use this pointier tip up by your eye. See, if you can tell, the beauty sponge actually soaks up more of the product, as where the brush just kind of pushes it around. I'm gonna kind of use it on this side too, because I just feel like it looks like I have more product on this side, because with the sponge it picks up some of the product for you, so that way it doesn't look so cakey. Now once you got all your concealer blended in, now you're gonna want to set this. So I'm currently using the Airspun setting powder, and it looks like this. Oh, and it just dropped. But I really like it. It smells really good. It kind of smells like, I don't know, it just reminds me of like a grandma. I don't know if my grandma used to have like this kind of powder or something, but it reminds me of that. So you're gonna get your sponge, and any one, like I'll probably use this one actually because it has a pointier tip. And just make sure it's out here, and it does need to be wet. You're gonna coat it like that, and then you're just gonna press it in to the areas where you set your concealer. Now, before you do this, you do want to get all of the lines clear from under your eyes, but I have lines because I'm tired, not because the foundation's settling into it. It's just how it is, so I don't really care too much. I'll just go right into it. And you're lightly just pressing it into there, and pick up more if you need. Now you're gonna look weird, and I will put it down here too, even though I didn't put concealer, just so I can set that part of my face. Because the key to having long-lasting foundation is making sure you set it. Set it with a powder. This will make your foundation last longer. You can't just, I mean you can, but if you just put your foundation on and then you go, it's gonna move around during the day and just become really patchy. But once you set it in with this powder, you're locking it in so that it does not move. It really is up to you how long you want it to bake. But I'm just gonna start dusting it off. I am using the same brush, however, it's probably good to get a, you know what, let me just grab one. Okay, let's go ahead and dust this off. Just get a clean, fluffy brush. Now you could bake longer if you wanted, but I honestly don't like to bake very long, just because I feel like my skin gets really dried out. Personally, that's just, for me, that's how it is. And I feel like at this point I usually look really just pale and washed out, and that's where bronzing comes in. When I was setting my face, I didn't put powder like right here on my cheekbones, because you want to do your creams first and then your powders, and I contour with a cream bronzer. I'm gonna use, and this is the e.l.f. It's like a duo, doesn't say on here, but it's a duo bronzer and blush. So just put some bronzer on your cheeks. Okay, and then I'll push a little bit onto my forehead, just right here. And right here, right around the top. Okay, and so that is a cream. I will go ahead and set it with my Hoola bronzer, the powder. Okay, and then I'm just gonna put a little bit of this blush on. You You want to focus it up here on the apples of your cheeks. If you go down too low, it might look a little bit weird. And then once you have all your powders on, now you're going to want to set your face. So I am currently using this Tarte Ready Set Radiant Setting Spray. And then I also use the Mario Badescu, it's the Aloe Cucumber Green Tea one. So check this one up. The only downfall about this spray is I actually had to change the sprayer on it. This is not what it came with. This is like a NYX spray one that I put on it, because the sprayer, I thought it was that was making it weird. But even with this one, it's weird. It'll come out, but it kind of leaves like weird spots on your face that you kind of have to rub out with your finger. But I still like it. I still like the smell, so I try to just hold it for a little bit further. So you're going to want to hold it, you know, far enough from your face that you feel the mist, and just spray it on. It feels so good. I love this part. And then I'll spray this right after. Okay, so now your face is drenched, but the key to making it stay is right as it's wet, go ahead and fan it out until it's dry. And you'll know, because it feels like when you sweat and you're fanning, and then your face kind of gets tighter. So I will immediately start fanning it out as soon as I'm done spraying.
Until I can feel it all dry.
Okay, so then you're all set. You can finish the rest of your makeup. I'm actually going to go and put on the eyelashes and do a tutorial on that, which you'll see before you see this video. That is it. Those are my tips. Very basic. I'm sure a lot of people use the same routine, but yeah, I hope you enjoyed. If you have any other questions that you feel like I didn't answer, just comment down below and I will get them answered for you. So thanks for watching. Bye.